Welcome everyone to The Eighth Plot, a channel devoted to your favourite stories and discovering new ones. Today's video is a what if video. Now this isn't like the popular Marvel franchise What If, that we're completely separate, Disney do not fund us unfortunately. You may have seen some shorter videos called What If on this channel, where I usually just talk with myself about what I would do if I was thrown into a fictional universe. Well, we've rejigged the format, and I'm joined by two, let's say acquaintances. I've got Scott. Say hello, Scott.
Hello.
Excellent. And I've got Ben. Say hello, Ben.
Hello.
Welcome to both of you. You both all right?
Yeah, I'm great, thanks.
Acquaintances is not a very nice word.
Really? I was going to say friends, but... No, we're friends.
I would have said family.
Family? Really? Okay.
None
None of us have the same last name. But let's just say, we'll say co-workers, because... But technically, this is work.
Am I being paid?
No.
It's not work.
You'll get a cut if this makes any money, which I supremely doubt it. Anyway.
Can that be contracted?
I'll put it down in writing.
Sweet.
Okay. So, that's excellent. Well, instead of the usual format of the What If videos, the old ones, Scott and Ben are going to help me figure out what we would do if we were thrown into a fictional universe. And then after that, we're going to see if we can come up with a different kind of story based around the central what-if question that universe proposes. So today we're in the Ironman universe. And the way this will work today is Scott will use his time in the universe to achieve his own goals and desires. He's the selfish one today, which is why he's represented as the Ironmonger, the bad guy in Iron Man. Ben this time will use whatever time he has in the universe to be selfless and attempt to make the world better, solve the world's problems more efficiently than the protagonists, and maybe save some people along the way. Which is why Ben is represented by Iron Man himself. Crucially, they can do all this using their innate knowledge of the universe to achieve things the protagonists and antagonists couldn't. So it's all about what they know of the future and the way these universes work from a sort of third-person view, I guess, of the universe. I, as a neutral observer, who's going to be picking apart what they say, will be represented by, of course, the Watcher. Please don't sue Disney. I'll be pointing out the flaws in their various plans as we go, which I'm not going to say there'll be many.
No, there'll be a lot.
Okay. That's good. Thanks, Scott. Keep listening, please. This is still good. You will... Okay, now there's some rules, guys. So, and you can ask some questions about these rules, and I'll try and clarify them if you have them. You will enter the universe at the earliest chronological point, ignoring prologues. So, for example, if you're in the Lord of the Rings universe, you start right where Frodo is under that tree reading, and then Gandalf rocks up with his fireworks. Otherwise, if we did at the exact chronological point, you'd have to start off when the rings are being forged, and there's Sauron's making the one ring, and you're in the background, like awkward silence, waiting for it to happen, and we can't really start there. So we'll start chronologically where the story begins, ignoring all introductions.
Cool.
Does that sound alright?
Sounds good.
Sounds awesome.
You will also enter the universe as a normal character, I'm sorry to say. Now, normal, I mean, say you were in the Star Wars universe, you won't be a Jedi. However, if there was a way for you to gain special abilities in the universe that normal people can have, you can still acquire them in a reasonable amount of time. So say you're in the Doctor Strange universe, since anyone can learn magic, I don't think it's a special ability that you're born with, you can use the magic of Doctor Strange, if you know how, having watched the Doctor Strange film. But if it requires special circumstances, I won't let you have it.
So I can't crash my own car and then go off to whatever he did and get the powers that way?
No, you don't have to do that anyway, Scott.
Oh,
because you already know where Comatage is, so you just go there and start learning. If that's what you want to do to make, for selfish reasons. I mean, you could ignore the whole plot of the film if you wanted, Scott, and just go and make the world better for yourself. Selfish, or Ben, however, in this episode, has to make things better for the protagonists.
And that I will.
Good. Confident, I like it. You cannot just walk up to characters and tell them the future and what you know. You have to sort of manipulate events or sneak in, do something useful, then get out. So, for example, if I put you in the Back to the Future universe, you can't just go to the mall where the DeLorean was being tested and just tell Doc and Marty, get out of here before the Libyans show up and AK-47 you. I mean, you don't have to actually do anything in the Back to the Future universe because everything turns out all right anyway. But, oh well. Now, every episode you'll swap around who's being selfish and who's being selfless. Now, if you're selfish like Scott is today, your goal is to use your knowledge to better yourself, or just to make things good for yourself anyway. Make money, become all-powerful, it's up to you. So, for example, if you were in the Game of Thrones universe, you would have to manipulate things to try and sit on the Iron Throne. Now, if you're selfless, like Ben is today, your goal is to make the outcome of the film better for the protagonists, prevent any collateral damage, and just heroes leave collateral damage in there as they do cool things to entertain us, and people die along the way. Kind of like how in the Avengers universe, where that guy loses an eye. Oh, it's a shame, but it's cool. And Hawkeye, under mind control, has arrowed a bunch of people who were just working their 9-to-5 security gig, and the Hulk smashes loads of people. This is why I was for the Sokovia Accords in Civil War. But you've got to try and prevent
Whoa,
that.
hold up. You're
Come
for
on.
the Sokovia Accords?
Yeah, come on. Accountability is really important.
Hashtag Team Cat.
Hashtag Iron Man. Oh, wait. Oh, well. Hashtag Iron Man. So that you've got to reduce collateral damage in the wake of what heroes do in these things. Now, I will give you a significant amount of starting resources. Like when you enter the universe, you'll have clothing specific to the era or place, a bit of starting cash so you can get around and do stuff, or whatever cash is in that universe. I had to say, you can't see me, but I am doing the quotation marks. However, if you want to manipulate the universe to get more resources, if you can think of a way of doing that, that's fine. Right, those are all the rules. In future videos, I won't go through the rules like this. I'll do it much quicker and cleaner. But for now, you know the rules. And let's see what happens. Now, by virtue of a coin toss, Scott, you will start. You're being evil. What are you going to do? I've thrown you into the universe. At the beginning of the Iron Man universe, I think what's happening at the very beginning is Tony's in that casino. And Jeff Bridges' character is getting that award on his behalf, and he's not there. So that's chronologically the point we start. Yep. So there you go. You're in the universe. What are you going to do?
Well, first of all, those rules just immediately outdid anything of my notes.
I'm sorry. Well, give us one of them as an example. There, we'll see.
So I've come in with a reasonable amount of money. I gamble a bit. I earn some money.
But hang on a minute.
Blackjack.
Wait a minute. That's just normal gambling.
Yeah.
How do you know how you're going to win money? Like, couldn't you use your? Do you remember what the dice roll was?
That's true. That's a good point. So I'll do that.
So you'll join Tony in the casino.
Yeah.
And you know what dice rolls, so you just bet appropriately.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I earn a bit more money.
Yeah.
But then I go off. I find a nice lady. I pay her money to buy drinks for Tony. Get him absolutely smashed.
I just want to point out, in the comic books, Tony is an alcoholic, and most of the things they didn't cover this in the films, but he was an alcoholic. So you've really worked against the comic book character.
He was. So I get him absolutely smashed.
Okay.
So he's too drunk to do anything the next morning.
So
including the hanky panky with the
I know what you mean.
With the press officer.
Yeah.
So he's too drunk to do anything. He's got a massive hangover. So he doesn't. Well, it's his own plane, but he's later to get into the to Afghanistan or something.
Was it Afghanistan?
I think it was
somewhere in the Middle East.
Yeah, it's a big area
in the world.
In the world,
somewhere with mountains for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. Somewhere with a 10 wind.
It seemed very vague on purpose, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's late for that.
So, okay.
And
so if he's late for, are you trying to stop him from ever being caught by the terrorists?
No, I'm just delaying it a bit.
Well, okay, interesting.
So Obadiah has more time.
Yeah.
To do the things he needs to do.
So you're happy for Obadiah to go ahead and create a giant mech suit and sell it?
Sure, why not?
Okay. Why do you want mech suits to be ubiquitous in this world, I should say?
I don't know, because if I manage to make friends with Obadiah, it'd make me a lot of money.
Oh, I see. So are you doing all this gambling and making money so that you can afford to buy one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Get me a bit higher up in Tony Stark's world.
But doesn't Obadiah only make an iron suit because Tony makes one in the cave?
That's true. You don't have access to it.
That's true, I don't.
So,
but not yet, because the scientists haven't had enough time. So giving the scientists more time...
I was going to say, do you think you could invent it in Tony Stark's place? But I don't think you could.
Absolutely not.
I don't know if you're smart enough.
I'm not, trust me.
It feels like you might be able to make an arc reactor, but because it just looked like...
I mean, the arc reactor...
Though I don't even understand how he did that.
The arc reactor already exists. He's already got a massive one.
Yeah, but he's shrunk it down.
Yeah, it's more...
So giving Obadiah... Because ultimately this has been in the works for ages.
The plan, Obadiah's plan, okay.
Yeah. So he's just trying to figure out a way to get the arc reactor smaller. So give him more time to do that.
Wouldn't it be best, Scott, for not to get Tony drunk and delay stuff? Wouldn't it be best just to let him come back from wherever it was in the world, where the 10 rings were operating? Then he's built it already, and then that's when you get rid of Tony. like Obadiah did.
See, that would be much better.
Like, for one, like, can I help you out here?
Sure, go for it. I mean, this is just one of my many plans.
This is okay. Okay, let's hear another one then.
You want to hear another one?
Yeah, I want to hear another one.
So I come in the world. When Tony comes back, so it's a bit further on in the film, he wants to get a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
I get a job.
Poison the two.
Well, that's my plan.
Is that what you're going to do?
I get the job at the cheeseburger place.
It's at Burger King,
However,
I believe.
Burger King.
Okay,
However,
I get this.
I find a poison that replicates the effects of food poisoning and is indetectable in the liver.
Do you know what that is?
No.
So you're.
But it's a Marvel universe. Anything exists.
I think that's fair, Ben. I think that's kind of true. Is that how I would describe you?
There's an Infinity Stone. Come on.
Weirdly, you could actually just go and grab an Infinity Stone.
Yeah.
See, all these ideas.
No,
come into me.
you can't. You can't because the Tesseract is with Shield. I doubt you'd be able to get into Shield.
It's not. Oh yeah, it's just true.
You can probably invade Carmitage for the time stone.
Or you could pretend to be a spy. No, you pretend to be a magician.
I
forget that you can do all this.
I forget I can effectively go off.
Because this is your knowledge of the. I know this is the Ironman universe, but I think we can branch out into the Marvel while we're talking.
Sure. Well,
about
now I've just got like 3 other plans from that.
You got a few other plans.
Going back to my cheeseburger.
New
plan.
role. Back to the Ironman.
Going back to my cheeseburger plan.
So I like the idea that you enter the universe right where Tony's gambling, and the first thing you do is go and present your resume.
Yeah.
How do you find the McDonald's that they got the cheeseburger from, though?
Follow him.
Oh, hang on, no, but that doesn't work either. Because first you have to follow him.
True.
You follow him to the McDonald's. How do you get a job within 5 seconds so that you can be watching?
Well, what I would do is he lands at a certain airbase, right? I know where it is. So just
the nearest.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Deduction.
I'll give you that.
But we do need to bear in mind the fact that Tony Stark is a very influential person, and his cheeseburger would probably be checked.
No. Well, no, it's indetectable and mimics a food poisoning. So not only would he just assume it's food poisoning, I'll get away scot-free with it.
So you do want to poison him, though?
Sure, why not?
So he's sitting
With
there.
food poisoning. So he just
Well,
has diarrhea.
to be honest, McDonald's might handle that for you.
That is just true.
I don't think it was a specialist.
But Iron Man
McDonald's.
has come back with the arc reactor. What is it? He dies because of food poison. Allegedly food poison.
Yeah. Then you get a job as a coroner and take out the argument.
Yeah. Well, no, he would die.
That's too convoluted.
He would die anyway. Obadiah would take the.
Oh, so Obadiah then gets the arc reactor that way.
Exactly.
So how do you benefit from the arc reactor? We've already discussed that you could use your fabulous gambling wealth.
That's true.
Blackjack to be maybe. Then you could buy one from him.
Mm-hmm.
And presumably he's going to get away scot-free with everything he did.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's one of my plans. I'll let Ben go next to see what his plans are.
Hang on. Ben, what do you think of Scott's idea before we get to yours?
I like the food poisoning idea. I think that's a solid idea.
Came out.
I do agree it's a solid plan if you can figure the dose because
It's quite a risky plan.
Yeah, and
Well, they'll just assume it's like bad batch of meat or something.
that's true. I like the idea that you did think that you could use the casino to your advantage since you didn't think of it. I gave you it, but it was still at least you had the idea that you could earn some money through gambling.
Getting him smashed.
I mean, you could even more. I thought about this a bit as well. I'm bad in thinking selfish that you could gamble on like stocks and shares for Stark Industries.
That's good.
Because if Obadiah is about to produce this arc reactor and Iron Man suits, their stock's going to rocket through the roof.
See, and this is why he's the host and I'm not.
No, I've just been. I just think about these things way
The
too much.
Watcher
I should be
shouldn't
working.
interfere. The Watcher shouldn't be interfering in this.
I know, but the Watcher, as proven by the new What If series, can just like sit there and think about his own things, can't he? And he can see any universe. Technically, this has happened in one universe, I'm sure, because it's multiverse.
I mean, that is
somewhere, someone has poisoned the cheese for Tony Stark. But in the infinite universe, that's happening an infinite amount of times. So there we go. Why didn't they do that for What If? It's not interesting, but there we go.
That's one of my many plans.
Ben, could you think of before we get too good? Could you think of any alternative sort of bad plan? Like, could you think of any selfish way to do what Scott?
I'm not benefiting much from it, so I'll come back to that in another plan.
Yeah.
The gambling idea was very, very good, and like getting into stocks and shares and stuff. But
That's my
yeah.
idea.
Mark's idea.
Okay, I'm agreeing with you, Mark.
Oh, thank you.
But,
I always like that.
But yes, I think the Yeah, I'm not sure how I'd do that. I haven't prepared an evil way to do
Oh,
this.
true. Yeah, I was just hoping we criticise Scott's.
Yeah.
Or lock it in. I think there's some. You came up with some good ideas of how to selfishly use it.
I'm sure over the course of this podcast, I'll sort of combine all
And
my
YouTube
ideas
channel.
together.
Yeah, that's fine.
Exactly.
If you think of any other ideas while we're talking,
Wait, this is a podcast as well?
well, I might turn it into a podcast since.
Oh, that's sick.
So we'll do that, and hopefully, expand the reach of the eighth plot and what we're saying here. Because, by the way, I should say this: if you have your own ideas, please put them in the comments. I think maybe we do a revisit the idea see what other people said and refresh these. What people would do as well if they were in the universe.
That's a great idea, Mark.
Yeah, thank you.
Interesting.
I'm glad you think so. So I think maybe we plumb the depths of what an evil, selfish person could do in the Iron Man universe. I mean, I think though my goal would be to get my hands on an Iron Man suit somehow.
Yep.
So, and actually there is a way to do that. So chronologically, I enter the universe when Tony's getting that award of gambling, and all I do is try and find, I scout out his home, and do you know when I can't remember the actor who played it, who's Rhodey.
How long have you been watching this universe for?
10
Terrence
years. Terrence Howard, thank you, Ben. Perfect. He just leaves that other silver Iron Man suit there, just not doing anything. He just he goes, maybe later, baby, I think he says to the Iron Man suit.
Yeah.
And I think so, well, then that's when he leaves, I slip into Tony Stark's thing and just take that suit, and I've got my own Iron Man suit. And as proven by Iron Man 2, anyone can fly without any special privileges.
That's true. But if I got into Iron Man's garage, I would just immediately steal all the cars.
So you don't care about the Iron Man suit at all?
No, I just want the cars.
You don't think the Iron Man suit is cool?
I'm sure he's very cool, but he's got a McLaren. Of course, I'm stealing. Other car brands are available.
Yes. Sponsor this podcast. And we will never talk about McLarens again. Or McLarens talk. You sponsor us. So
Rory, I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
Sorry, tangent.
That was a good tangent, though. I like the idea that you would just break in and steal it.
Still the cars.
Yeah, that sounds good.
There's also functional robots in there.
Except that
you could steal.
that stupid robot that Tony hates throughout the film series.
I don't know why he hates him, because at the end
Because
of
it's his first.
it was his first,
one,
but
so it's trash.
going off a little bit,
First go.
First
try.
It's like the first child, isn't it?
Aren't you the first child?
I know. So don't get mad at me, comment section. I'm the first child.
Okay,
so it doesn't. But the robot at the end effectively gives him the arc reactor on the side.
You could just take that arc reactor that's lying. Oh no.
No, because
No, it's already gone by that point
that's
in
his
the
very
film.
first one.
Yeah, that's true, and it's in his chest because Ironmonger's got the proper one that he built, the second one that he built after that. Okay, so Scott would try to get his hands on cars. I'd try to get my hands on the suit, and Ben's just to make money in the casino. And maybe you could steal that award that that Tony was given. They didn't seem to care
Become
about,
that Roman guard.
and sell it on eBay.
What Roman guard?
You know the Roman guard in it was like Caesar's Palace or something, who was taking a photo and was like, here, have this.
Oh yeah. You take his place and you get the award. Then you put it on eBay for some money.
You need a bit more muscle.
This is
Ben.
Tony Stark's blah 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 award. I don't know what it was. Businessman of the year, something like that.
I think so. Something like that.
I'll rewatch the film just to find out later.
I did actually rewatch the film before I came.
How do you feel about? Actually, just generally, do you guys like Iron Man?
Yeah, it's a solid film.
It took a while to get there.
Is
Iron Man 2 was very much a letdown.
We're not talking about Iron Man.
I know,
2,
but I
we're
just
talking
figured
about
I'd
Iron
put it
Man
out
1.
there.
just a little bit of review of Iron Man. Like, it's a good start to the MCU.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, no one includes the Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton. For some reason, you can't even get it on Disney. I discovered.
No,
Yeah.
because I think it's a
Because
Sony
owned
film.
part owned by Universal. So Universal didn't do a deal with Disney to let them keep it on their platform, unlike Sony, who did for Spider-Man. So that's very weird. But
Weird.
Yeah, Iron Man is a good film.
Yeah.
It starts off like pretty much like any other film, like main character getting shot and then going back to how he got there.
Yeah, because
but-
in every film, the main character gets shot, doesn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's test that theory. And actually, I think you're right. Except
Star Wars, someone gets shot.
usually a stormtrooper.
Usually. What is wrong with That's
I don't
no tangent, not
There's
Star
a
Wars.
tangent. No one gets shot in Lord of the Rings.
No.
Unless arrows count.
Because
Um,
but yeah, Iron Man, solid film, solid start.
I'd say it's one of the better standalone films of the MCU.
It's a good starter as well. Like, I actually prefer it to the first Captain America, the First Avenger.
Yes.
There's something... I like Captain America, the First Avenger, but there's just something slightly off by the way it ends, whereas Iron Man has a nice... I think it completes itself quite well.
If it didn't take off, it would have made a nice standalone film. If it just...
Yeah,
the entire Marvel universe stopped with Iron Man, like it did with A New Hope, it could have been a standalone film.
I will want to critique Iron Man a little bit. Obadiah is a good bad guy overall, but do you know the guy who captures him? I don't forget his name. The head of the Ten Rings.
Oh yeah.
Which, if you've that'll be a spoiler. Anyway, that guy I felt just left, like, was defeated in a very, like, he should have like got on a plane, travelled over to the USA to try and get Tony again, and then get stopped in some way. That's what I would have preferred.
Yeah.
I thought that the whole idea of them just being a terrorist organisation that was just based there was fine.
Placeholder, sort of.
Yeah, and that, like, Obadiah was the big bad behind them.
Yeah.
I feel like there should have been more weight to that reveal of Obadiah killing the leader. Spoiler alert.
Too late. Rewind, then it's no longer.
But yeah.
What's your reverse?
Yes, and you're fighting and there's no spoiler. And you can't understand what we're saying.
But yeah, I think I thought it was fine since there was no backstory to the Ten Rings at all at that point.
And that's obviously at the time Marvel just plucked the Ten Rings from the ether and they use as a temporary bad guy, not thinking what they would do later in Shang-Chi.
But then even in
or even the third Iron Man film now, I think
there was something a mention of Wakanda at some point in Iron Man, or
was there?
the first, very briefly.
I don't remember.
I don't believe you, Scott. I'm
in
calling you out.
In an end credit scene, either Wakanda was mentioned by name or he's on a map behind him.
Oh, okay.
In the end credit scene, that's with Nick Fury though. Where is
it may not be. It may have been Iron Man 2, maybe.
That seemed completely pointless. That cutscene at the end, I will say.
Really?
Well, like, nothing happens of it because in the Iron Man 2 they say we don't want you.
No, but the whole point was to get hype for the rest of the MCU because it was oh my goodness,
just name
there's
drop.
More universe to this, and they're gonna do it.
So all it was to name drop the Avengers, and then in Iron Man 2 they tell Tony, we don't want you for the Avengers.
And spent like millions of pounds on a small Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson cameo.
Yeah, I bet that cost a lot. But Tony, well,
RTJ cost a lot.
Worth it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That'd be cool. Well, it's always nice to see Samuel L. Jackson in any film.
Well, he's in every single franchise. You can't get rid of him.
It's true.
Star Wars, he's there. Lord of the Rings, I'm sure he's there somewhere.
In future ones, he might be.
Probably. Can't get his nose out of any franchise.
Swearing away in the background. Let's not. No, we're not going to do our ideas.
This is very big.
I don't want to get. This is hopefully it won't be monetized one point in the future. So anyway, I think so we have our thoughts and feelings on Iron Man, and we've done Scott's what he would do.
Very briefly, my plan might develop over this course.
That's fine. And I think it's time to go to Ben. So Ben, there is a lot of. Isn't there a lot? There's some collateral damage in Iron Man. What would you do, like, make things better for people in Iron Man using your knowledge?
Would it cost a lot?
And you're entering right when Tony's in the casino again. You can, if you want to wait some period of time before you do something, that's fine. But what would you do?
So realistically, the first collateral damage is the soldiers at the start.
Yes.
So
the ones that are sort of transporting Tony from the Jericho bit where he blows up a mountain.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I really want to. So I want to keep them alive. What are you doing, Scott?
So no, don't worry. Inside jokes. Fine.
Okay.
So I was thinking that I would befriend Obadiah.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Oh, you know. Okay. Yeah. Good.
Because I know he likes cars, and I know that he likes beards.
But what do you know about cars?
Where's this going? This is interesting.
And I know he likes awards, so like I go up to him with an award of some kind and be like, "Hey, you're the best friend of Tony Stark. Have an award.
You're the silver medal of businessman at Stark Industries. Here's your award."
So I convince him to call the Ten Rings to attack Tony at his house instead. Because
how do you do that with like him going, "Who are you? How do you know all this?"
So I do it. So I get Obadiah to do it because.
Do you realise you've only got like a day?
Yeah, I
Okay.
know. So
You
like,
work fast on friendship. Okay, well, let's keep going. I imagine you could do it. Like, you don't have to tell him what you
Or
know.
I get him
Maybe you
drunk
could
and then-
maybe you could blackmail him.
Get overtired drunk.
Why is this?
Get over.
Okay, I'm banning the idea of just getting people drunk.
Oh, that's not
For one thing, I would say that I don't think he would.
That means that
I think he can
Scott's
handle
whole
this
plan goes through because like completely.
Oh no,
relies
we
on-
already blew that apart.
Oh, we
Anyway.
blew that apart. Yeah. I'm feeling here defeated.
I think that you could although you're supposed to be the good guy, but I was going to say you could hint without telling him maybe that you know something about and that you should cancel the 10. Oh no, I know what you. Oh, sorry, I see what you're doing. So you okay? We'll go with this. Let's say that you do convince Obadiah to change his plans somehow, maybe by like sort of I will tell the police what you're doing unless you do it this way for me or something like that. Because I gave you an award.
For your silver medal award. Yes, so I get him to change the plans to attack Tony at his house.
Yeah.
While he's making that call, I go and tell the reporter, "Oh, there's a big story over there. Don't go sleep with Tony."
Okay, good. Yeah.
Because then she's out of the way and it's like it's just Tony, sad and
That's
alone.
good. What story could you tell her though that would make her go away? What could you? Is there something about
Captain
the MCU?
America is still alive.
Yes, yeah, that's perfect. Well
That
done.
would have been good. But he's not alive yet.
No, it's like
He's still frozen.
Okay, in the context of this, I'll let you tell her. By the way, Captain America, he's frozen in the Arctic. Go help him out, and she will. And you've awoken Captain America earlier, I assume. I have no idea when he was awakened. I assumed it was after 4 or something, or during 4.
I think it's.
I think it's
after
before Avengers.
Yeah, it's just before.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because Nick Fury comes to him in the end credit scene. He's punching all his bags.
Oh, that's at the end of 4, though, isn't it? That end credit scene.
Yeah, so it must be Thor.
So yeah, just around 4. That's when he's got. And 4 happens a bit after Iron Man 2, I think. But yeah, you could still say it, and that'll get her out of the way because now she's going to go find Captain America.
Or I'll say like, good. Oh, there's a big mystical land called Kamatage that teaches wizardry. Or
that would be harder to convince her, I feel.
There's an alien with a really big chin who's going to come here and snap his fingers and erase half of her.
That's, yeah.
But you have to wait 10 years for that story.
She would ask you for your sources. But let's assume that you can get rid of the Captain America thing, okay?
And then, boom. 10 Rings attack and they take Tony
I get you.
from his house.
And the only casualty is no one.
Yeah, because they'll do it strategically, so they'll probably do it silently. And if there is any damage to his house, he can pay for it because he's rich.
When he gets back eventually, yeah, I see what you mean.
And so now we are at the cave. He's being tortured and stuff, and like
waterboarded.
Yeah,
everything happens.
Everything happens.
Yeah.
Up until like they tell him to build the Jericho.
Okay.
So he sees like all this war stuff and.
So he changes.
Yeah, so he's still gonna change. Yeah, because that's an integral part of the story and stuff.
So no, but the main point of this is the shrapnel is what does it.
Yeah.
So where's the shrapnel coming from?
There's still gonna be a bomb.
Yeah, but if there's a bomb and he's within close enough range, it's just be concrete. That's gonna that would just kill him. And if it was concrete, there's no. What's the point of the arc
Scott,
reactor?
I have to leap in here and say that I don't think it maybe it doesn't matter because his means of escaping didn't necessarily require him to have shrapnel to prevent the arc reactor.
It just didn't.
No, but the arc reactor is stopping the shrapnel from going to his heart. That's the metal.
No, the arc reactor was created so that he didn't need
the battery.
To stop the metal in his chest.
If there's no metal in his chest, that means that he doesn't need that thing on his chest, so he doesn't need to create the arc reactor for his chest. He can just create it for the suit.
For the suit, which he comes up with as an idea to escape. So, and besides, the entire MCU just gets rid of the shrapnel anyway, which is a key component of his character throughout the comic books. I think he's always got it.
That doesn't really happen to Iron Man 3, does it?
No, he gets it removed because he promises Pepper that he'll change, and then Avengers 2 happens, and he's back in the suit.
That's never really explained, is it?
No. But I think
it's explained in Civil War.
But I think Ben's plan works. Like he can still create the arc reactor, and he just doesn't have shrapnel in his chest. He doesn't need the arc reactor to power the magnets, which I never really got that. But before we continue, Ben, I was going to pull you up on something, but then I realised it's actually okay. I was going to say, like in the Iron Man, the Ten Rings didn't know that they were trying to capture Tony Stark. It seemed like Obadiah just paid them off, attack this convoy at this time, and kill their main VIP. And then they realised that it was Tony Stark, and they tried to hold Obadiah for ransom. There's like a video.
Oh yes, I remember that.
But I still think you're fine, because Obadiah could just say, just attack this house. And he just still doesn't tell them who he wants dead. And then they attack Tony's mansion, realise it's Tony Stark, and still kidnap him, take him to wherever it was, and story continues from where I left you off. So
yes.
But moving this amount of terrorists has got to...
Well, you have one or two. Tony's not a fighter.
Well, no, but he's got all these...
No, he doesn't.
No, that's true, he doesn't. No, but still...
He needs the suit, I'm
sure they're being monitored by some sort of government or something. And this is very close to...
Worst case scenario, they have to fight Happy.
Oh, well, we can't have Happy die.
No, but that's the worst case scenario.
That's the
and
worst
he's not
case
going to be
scenario.
there.
How are you? Okay, then I have to add this. How are you going to keep Happy away from the mansion so that he definitely doesn't get killed?
He's never there anyway.
That's true.
He doesn't
he's
hang
not
out
really
there.
there, is he? No.
No.
That's a good point.
Plus, Tony is too egotistical and prideful to have any bodyguards there.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is why he reveals he is Iron Man at the beginning, at the end.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, Happy probably isn't there, Pepper probably isn't there.
Surely Jarvis would do something.
Well, no, Jarvis can't do anything.
That's true.
Just he can do the climate control under the
yeah, he's just the window.
Terrorists walk in and go, oh dear, I'm making it cold. We can't get Tony today. That's basically all Jarvis can do.
That's true. He's just a talking weather
Although
map.
the robots, no, they're useless.
No, the best they're going to do is...
Yeah, that's it.
That's a very good noise.
Thank you.
If you're listening on the podcast, I think that's like a handshake that goes wrong. That's the general action that Ben was trying to do.
That was my favourite character in Iron Man. That little robot hand.
The three fingers.
Who cares about the award-winning actors?
Exactly.
Just that robot and whoever manipulated it.
Yeah, honestly, it's such good technology for its time.
A minute ago, you trashed it. you said the first one was like the first Sun or something. Wow, 180 in the last half hour.
We are contradicting ourselves all over the place.
Okay, getting back to the plot. So Tony, okay, so I feel you've rescued the soldiers. I think I'm happy. Cool. Happy that you've done that. And I couldn't think of a single way to save them, so well done.
Thank you.
I don't know if you ever gave it any thought, Scott.
I wasn't interested.
He was just thinking about how he was going to get Tony drunk.
How to get absolutely smashed.
By the way, don't get drunk. I feel we should endorse,
drink responsibly, kids.
Or not at all, except for water.
Exactly,
yes.
Water only.
Water only.
J2Os as well.
Maybe some Ribena. Not sponsored by Ribena, but maybe.
Maybe some
other squash brands are available.
Thanks for. Scott is also our legal department. So Ben, you saved everyone who I think was going to die so far. I can think of one person left. How are you going to try and? Although we had this conversation, that you wouldn't even try. Yusef,
yes,
who is the doctor who obviously doesn't need to save Tony Stark, but is still there, kidnapped by the terrorists.
So
yes.
he was brutally murdered.
Yeah, he was machine gunned at the end. That's tragic. That's very sad, and that's why I didn't like that scene, but it was
a really good scene.
It's a good turning point. Yeah, thanks, Scott. It's a good turning point for Iron Man. It's a shame that it's always for all these superheroes, someone else has to die, and they usually just some random person who happened to be in his way. But yeah, it's a tragic scene, and it's like, but as we were talking, you say that
I'd say that I'd let everything play out. So I think I'd let him die because. As nice as he is, he does state that he said that he knew that he would see his family soon because he knew that he was going to die anyway.
That is the sad and tragic. It's like one of those things, he wanted it because he had lost so much by that point. Yeah,
so he'd lost his family, so he would be fine. He'd be okay dying to see them again. And that also adds to Tony's character development.
Yeah, I mean, without that death, Tony might have never become the person who literally saves. Spoiler alert: the world in spoiler alert, Endgame. And if you haven't seen it, what is wrong with you?
Have you been living under a rock? Wake up, sheeple!
Buried with the ether in that pocket dimension.
Well, ultimately, this is just one of the deaths that Tony has to go through because it was ultimately his family and
I guess it's
It
one of those
also-
things that even the good person, in this case Ben, can't stop. So,
It also means that.
And Spider-Man, ultimately. Sorry.
yeah,
It
so-
also means that he learns that there are consequences to,
yeah,
even if you do have a massive metal mech,
yes,
people still die.
and it's his weapon still. So now he obviously does the escape when his homemade. Well, it's all homemade, but
It doesn't last very long.
the trash robot, the other trash robot,
Mark
he built,
1.
the Mark 1. Yes, true. So he escapes normally. Do you think? And then the rest of the film plays out.
Yes. As far as I'm aware, there are no casualties for the rest of the movie, are there?
I think
The
a couple
bridge.
shield.
The bridge.
The bridge?
Not the bridge. When he's going through these and he's flipping cars at people.
Yeah, it's
With people
possible
in
some
them.
people.
Oh, that
died
final
then.
fight.
Yeah.
But there's several ways that you could use your knowledge to.
And the SHIELD agents and...
What SHIELD agents?
Do you know when Coulson?
Oh yes, sorry.
And I think he Ironmonger switches on, bursts out of the shadows.
Don't know how Coulson survived that.
I'm glad he did.
Yeah.
I'm glad Coulson.
And spoiler alert, he doesn't survive. But he does survive actually. He gets
He
killed.
does, but he doesn't. Not in this Marvel
No, not
universe.
in this universe.
It was like 10 years ago. I think
It
we
was
don't
10
have to
years
say
ago.
spoiler alert.
I don't have watched it. Yeah, okay. But for some people, anyway, somehow you've got to save those. And I think so. In a way, you can leap in and stop Ironmonger before his plan hitches off. You could sneak into that lab and break Ironmonger in a certain way so he can't even activate it, and the SHIELD agents arrest him. Or you sabotage his Segway that he rides during the film, which is. Do you remember that scene?
I don't remember that. No.
At some point, Jeff Bridges, in the coolest way imaginable, just he's riding a Segway, and he's I don't know, drifts it maybe, and he parks it, and he's got sunglasses on, his suit billows in the back in the wind, and then he goes into that and berates that scientist for not being able to shrink down.
I think you're just
the
talking
arc
about
reactor.
Paul.
I'm pretty sure this
I'm
was
pretty sure that's a deleted scene.
No, this was not a fever dream or some sort of.
There's
this
no
happened.
way that happened.
You're thinking of Kevin James in Paul Blart Mall Cop.
No, I've never seen that. I never will. But no, I'm sure that scene happens, and I would run across and stick a stick in the Segway, catapulting Jeff Bridges off it. Yeah, exactly. And he's injured for the rest of the film, and then Pepper discovers what he did, and he gets arrested by SHIELD. And the Ironmonger suit never gets built, or just no one ever goes into it. And that would save the SHIELD agents and those people on the bridge.
Yeah.
Think that works.
I think that's it, yeah.
Or again, I just wait in Tony's house, and do you know when Tony sits down and
Yeah,
I would use that sound device,
sound
and
device, yeah.
I would just be behind the sofa with a cricket bat, and then just sort out Obadiah when he goes.
How do you get in?
How did I get in? Who knows? And then I go take his McLaren, but other cars are available.
Other cars are available.
Thanks, God. We're good legally. Right.
Can't come at us for, are we?
I think that's good. Well done, Ben. You saved everyone, and everything played out exactly as before. Tony's still Tony, and presumably everything he does from this point and could continue as normal. Any criticisms, Scott?
No.
No.
All apart from the shrapnel and the concrete, that's it in his head.
I don't think electromagnet wouldn't pull out the.
Not concrete.
There's ways they can take him without blowing up the magnet.
Yeah. Could just be... They
What?
could just
That
use
sonic
the,
device.
Yeah.
That's true.
They could just ask for it, although they don't know he's got it.
You had a much better plan than I did, so well done.
Thank you.
Put a lot more thought into it.
I think in future videos, at some point, Ben's going to have to make sacrifices and let people. He won't be able to save everyone.
I did.
You saved everyone in this one, but
No,
in other
I
films,
let Yusuf die.
Yeah, but we explained
Why you
I don't want
Yeah.
to say it was good that we let that character die.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things which the character
Yeah.
I don't know what his life would have been like if Tony had got him out of there somehow, picked him up or
died a sore alcoholic.
or how to actually Scott.
Smashed by Scott.
Dark.
Sorry.
I will delete that.
Go for it.
Or won't, because this bit was funny. Okay. Well done, you two. I feel that you've both plumbed the depths of what you could do.
Ben did,
If you knew-
Ben did a lot better.
If you knew everything about the Iron Man universe, or anything you could, and how you could make it better, or what, Ben made it better.
I made it a lot better.
Scott was just
I just got him smashed.
the whole time. Don't drink. I'm serious. Don't.
My plan was just gambling and
It's
getting
funny
people
when-
smashed, so...
It's funny when we say it, but it's not funny in real life.
No. Devastating effects.
Devastating effects indeed. I don't know why.
Not funny, Ben.
No, yeah. I just want to be clear that I guess it would have worked for Scott's plan, but not in real life. Please don't. Like, the world will be better
I just
if
gamble.
people just drunk responsibly, like Obadiah in a dressing gown.
Invest in Tony Stark.
There's one scene where he's just sitting there weirdly in a dressing gown watching the TV as Tony Stark says something, and that scene always stayed with me because it was very odd that he was in his dressing gown.
I think that just...
Like, I thought, couldn't he have been a suit at a desk? You know, somehow I feel Jeff Bridges had something to say on that scene and got it in there.
Yeah, he just rolled out of bed that morning.
Yeah, I'm not putting on a suit, just film me as I am. Okay, well done, guys. That's the what if you were thrown into the universe. But I want to talk about something else. We've talked about how we make these universes better, worse. We've exposed some holes in the storyline, I think, as well. But what I want to do is, could we take the central what if question, because it's called what if, that Iron Man asks? I think that all films, all stories ask a what if question, and then try to answer it as part of the wider storytelling. So, see if you agree with me. I think the question Iron Man asks, like Stan Lee or the creators or the directors, whoever wrote this, sort of sat down and kind of thought to themselves, what if someone built a suit of armour that gives them all the sort of superpowers that you typically can have, flight, strength, durability. So what if someone did that? What if someone built a suit of armour that gives them those superpowers? Do you think that's the core question that maybe is being asked at the heart of Iron Man?
Yeah, I agree. I think that it would really affect the world if that were to happen, because it would become like the next supercar.
Yes.
So, yeah, I agree.
How do you think Scott, what do you think, so? Do you think that's a good core question?
Yeah, I mean, I think technology's always been developed, and I don't think that it's... I don't know where I'm going with this, but yeah, that is the core question.
Someone imagined a mech suit.
Exactly. Someone's become more powerful than they already are.
But there's plenty of films which also say this in some ways. Pacific Rim is all about what if someone built a giant robot, and then they built the whole plot around it, I guess. But Iron Man takes it in a different. What's the answer that Iron Man gives? Do you think to that whole? What if someone built a suit of armor for themselves, and then how did it answer that question? Do you think?
Well, I think even before that, it answers the question that all these power, because ultimately it is a weapon.
Yeah.
So before even it's built, it's asking Stark is ultimately, these two weapons he's built are ultimately for good, depending on what side you're on.
Okay.
But ultimately these terrorists are using it for bad.
So Iron Man essentially answers the question by people are going to want to use it for good or bad, and you hope that it always ends up in the good hands.
But I mean, if you're in the terrorist side, it's always bad anyway, because you'll get the one blown up. So.
I mean, if Obadiah won, thanks to Scott in our version, then presumably Iron Man suits would have been sold all across the world to various groups like the Ten Rings and other countries. And,
Taliban.
Yeah,
that's not politically correct. I can't say that.
Yeah, I don't think it's politically incorrect because they're actual group. But
that's true.
I don't think Marvel likes to say the name. It doesn't name drop.
No, it's sort of it's made its own sort of terrorist group, hasn't it? Through the Ten Rings.
Yeah.
I mean, there are loads of terrorist groups in the MCU and in Marvel Comics anyway, so they've got plenty of material to work with.
Exactly. So I was thinking, because the eighth plot and this particular video series is also about trying to think of, because the idea of building a mech suit that gives you superpowers is DC have the same sort of thing in some characters, and Pacific Rim, I think Gundam Force is also the same kind of thing. The idea of a mech suit is prevalent all through film and stories. So I want to try and think of a way that it would be a film or a story could do it differently. So what do you think about this? What if someone built a suit of armor that gives them superpowers like flight, strength, durability, but instead of it being just this one person's thing, what if it was sold commercially? What if this suit was now ubiquitous as cars, some Carl Benz or Henry Ford just churn these things out like cars. So the Iron Man suit is now freely available as a car. There's a universe where that happens. What do you think of that universe? What would it look like?
It would be effectively, it'd be just war.
You think so?
Yeah, because I mean, if they're commercially available as cars, we've seen groups even in this world where we have the Taliban and the ISIS all using Toyotas to get around doing it.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, so
because Toyota's apparently an indestructible car. Top Gear. Learned that. Other TV shows are available.
Okay.
But so they would somehow be able to get their hands on it, and so would the US government.
Yeah.
And other governments, in fact, and probably just be one massive war.
Okay, interesting. So
The Taliban would try to use it for bad, like effectively we have.
but do you think that would be isolated over there in the war zones? But like, if it's like cars, then like people will be travelling to work in their Ironman suits,
I mean, that's also a possibility.
and then you presumably have some Ironman suits which are better than others, more comfortable, better, faster.
You've got the Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3, Mark 4,
Yeah.
Mark 5.
The suits that can just come to your body and attach to your body, and maybe the nanite suit sometime in the future. So the world would look like a very different place. Presumably, all the cars would be gone because no one would drive anywhere. You just get into your Iron Man
Climate
suit.
change wouldn't be a massive thing anymore, because assuming it is run by arc reactors, it just electricity.
Okay, so
I mean,
Are we told that arc reactors are clean energy?
they do.
Well, I mean,
they say
they
it's-
run on their
he
own
says-
energy, don't they?
In Avengers, Tony does say like, I'm the only name it in clean energy right now, and he refers to the arc reactor.
Oh, okay.
And
So the need for cars
it
will be
can.
as much, and the need for petrol and.
but that would also rid the world of any like the arc reactors could be used anywhere.
A
Yeah,
lot
but
of other businesses would go down.
Yeah, oh, that's true.
It's like oil rigs and
The
Yeah,
economy
so
would
that-
take a massive hit.
Exactly. So there's that too. But like, so let's imagine this film starts though where we're past those problems and now the Iron Man suits are just daily used. Flying suits, you just instead of going onto your drive, you just step out your house and get in, and off you go, work, and presumably you need a license to fly them.
Why? Why do you need a
Because
license?
you need a license to drive cars.
Rody didn't need a license.
Sorry,
Rody didn't need a license.
neither did Tony.
and he was a colonel in the Air Force.
That's true.
But then again, he was the first inventor, so he's the one who gives the licenses out.
That's true.
Is that how it works?
Well,
But then Pepper.
how did the first driving license get started? Do you think Carl Benz went around
I
like
dunno.
giving them to people?
Don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's government.
It's a government money-making scheme.
Actually, no, I don't agree with that because people need to learn how to drive cars.
I mean, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. The theory test is a government money-making scheme.
there are other governments available.
Scott
that's
is both
just
our
called-
legal
that's-
team and our conspiracy theorist.
That's called dictatorships.
Okay, yes.
Other dictatorships are available.
No, why are we laughing at that? There are no dictatorships anywhere ever. Okay,
That shouldn't be.
I'll cut that. No. Okay, so we've got a world where the Iron Man suits are just everywhere normally. We've got to create conflict though in this. Like, in a sense, something should be wrong with. Like, they should cause some problem in it. Like,
I mean, ultimately, the fire coming out the back of them can't be good.
Fire.
Yeah, the fire.
oh, the repulsor fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe a different kind of climate change issue is caused by them.
Also, arc reactors would most likely be powering houses and stuff
Yes.
now. So
Maybe there's something else arc reactors could be doing, or whatever in our universe, whatever the arc reactor technology is, like whatever power source could be sufficient to power it. Maybe it should be doing something else because maybe this whole idea is just another climate change metaphor where instead it's just
it's a different way.
But I think it's like maybe the arc reactors like are damaging the ozone layer, or all the birds are all dying because they can't find their way anymore because they're homing on
Too
arc
much
reactors. Too much light, something like that. You know, an energy put out by whatever the arc. I'm doing the quotation marks again.
That's true. Energy bills would go through the roof.
Oh no,
No, they wouldn't because arc reactors rely on their
Or
own energy. So
other-
you just
They
buy
would be very expensive.
or
Yes,
other
they would be.
environmental damage. But then maybe the core conflict of the story could be that you know how we don't. Again, in climate change, we don't want to get rid of cars. They're convenient, even though they're causing all these problems.
Yeah.
So the conflict would be when someone notices that all these reactor-powered thing and suits are actually causing a different kind of environmental damage, and we don't want to give them up because they're too cool. Because they would be. Like I would want one. You can crash into a mountain and come out the other side, and you can lift anything virtually anything with the suits. Presumably, commercial ones wouldn't come with guns. I'm sure someone would find a way, but
they probably wouldn't have the ability to shoot repulsors either.
no, it would just work just to lift,
It would
lift
just
you
be
up.
flying.
Yeah,
Probably.
You would see all these places where patches of grass are just brown because all these people are taking
yes,
off.
Yeah.
that's true.
We'd have to have you'd have to have like a specific spot on your area driveway that you can take off from, and like anywhere else is illegal.
People would socialise in them as well. They'd be at a pub in their suit, back to drinking again. Why are we doing this? I really do apologise. I did not mean this for the podcast to promote this, but there we go. But it's fine. But anyway, my point is that it would that people would find them so good they would not want to give them up. But then, unlike a car, for example, I know Scott gave the example that other groups can use cars for warfare, but in this case, everyone's got this thing that can be used simultaneously across the whole world. Like someone announces, we have to get rid of these, and the damage is going to come very quick. Its effects are very sudden, unlike climate change, which has been slow going. But so in a few months is when the crux happens, and we have to get rid of these suits now, but no one does it, and then this almost intense global conflict kicks up when everyone, half the population who does use them wants to get rid of them because they recognise the danger, but the other half of the world doesn't. But the other half that wants to get rid of them needs to use them to defeat the other half.
Either way, you can't give them up because they're a crucial part of the way that you're living.
Yes, that's true. And because this is, as I said, this could potentially be a climate change sort of metaphor. You got to find the solution that allows you to get rid of them that could be applicable today with the fact that we don't want to get rid of the things that cause our problems.
Drinking. That's a big problem.
Not really high on the climate change agenda.
No, that's true.
We don't want to make fun of drinking. I think we should. But we did. But
it's done now.
It's done now, and I can't cut everything. Well, we just want to be clear. We're just making fun. Yeah. What could the solution be to that situation?
Create a petrol shortage or a shortage of people delivering petrol.
Oh, that's
I see what you mean. Yes, I see what you mean. Yeah. Oh well, then in taking that idea in this universe, rather than start an all-out conflict, the group who recognises the need to get rid of them just finds the thing that powers all the suits and just gets rid of it, and then that's it. All the suits can't be used anymore, and maybe that's the idea that maybe we're suggesting bold action, really, really bold action has to happen. But that sounds kind of eco-terrorist and we can't go down that route.
Yeah.
No, but I think with this, just having a thought now, you're having, 50 million people just in America alone flying.
I think there's 400 million cars in the world at any one time.
Yes, assuming
I remember
they're all
hearing
driving
that
at
on
once.
a Doctor Who episode. That's probably not great.
Was that the Sultana episode? It was, wasn't it?
We're talking hundreds of millions of cars.
Yeah,
so presumably there'll be
at
hundreds
once.
of millions of
The amount, I mean, this might just be completely irrelevant, but they would all have collisions, and ultimately you would have to have a certain airspace where you're not allowed to go because ultimately they wouldn't come with antifreeze because that just costs too much. So you'd have a place where you're not allowed to go. I mean, saying that now, I don't actually have a point to that. So
it could also mean that, since the technology to keep something afloat, flying for so long, could mean that we completely scrap any kind of commercial thing on the ground, and we just have that for living, and then have restaurants in the sky.
Oh, okay. So we're flying because we can fly.
Yes.
Our whole world has become flying as well.
And
the world would look very different.
Airspace would become a big problem as well.
Yeah.
Because you would have borders, and it wouldn't just take me 5 minutes just to get to Scotland for me in an Ironman suit. Or not even that far. I could invade France quite easily.
Just you. Other countries over there. I hope this joke doesn't recur in future episodes because we can't keep using it. Maybe it's our catchphrase. Other things are available. Other films are watchable. Okay. I think we have to end it there because we are running a bit short on time. But that is, I think, I'd like to see a film or story or book rather than go through the superhero way, just make the superhero thing. Because a lot of people on other YouTube things which are, critique Iron Man, have always said hasn't he invented a means to basically eliminate global warming, and then the Avengers never talks about it. The Marvel Universe doesn't cover it ever again. There's still oil tankers, there's still petrol-driven cars.
That's what we're for.
Yeah, it's what we're for. We see those mistakes and point them out.
It's got 1 minute till that switches off.
Oh dear. Well, that doesn't matter too much. Because it's just a screen. But I would like to see a film that sort of takes this thing that rather than deal with it with superheroes, just make it common and then see what the world would do with it and invent a new conflict to deal with it. And the climate change thing works very good.
I think we only ever see the arc reactor being used in another way once.
in Avengers 1.
Assemble, yeah,
That's
with
it.
the force field.
And I guess we're supposed to assume that Tony's doing something in the background, but we don't really like because there's.
I know he powers his
There should have been a car.
powers Stark Tower with it.
Like you'd think that there would be like arc reactors everywhere, but I want to. All these superhero films always introduce something that would be enormous benefit for the world, and then they never like. I want to see them deal with that, like a suit that you can fly around in. Everyone would want that. Why? And wouldn't you be able to manufacture it en masse? Show us a story how you would deal with that situation. I don't know. It was an idea. And there you go, chaps. I think that's enough time talking about this.
I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
I did too. Yeah.
I liked your ideas about what you could do and what you could do with just knowledge. Just your knowledge of the universe and what you can do. I think I had to say, Scott, Ben won because he saved everyone.
100% Ben.
Woohoo!
But next time you're going to swap roles.
I was vastly unprepared for this.
You're going to be the good guy, Scott. Ben, you're going to have to think of selfish ways to utilise it. We haven't thought of a film yet. We'll...
Ironman 2.
No.
I only say that because it's got an F1 track in it, and I know quite a lot of F1. Other motorsports are available.
But it's only it's only in it for 5 minutes.
That's
No, I don't know. I don't think we'll do Iron Man 2. We're not going to follow the chronology of
no, because Iron Man
of
2 is a shocking
Marvel
film.
universe. It'll take us too long to get to others, the other films that are available. So, I think before we end, anything you want to plug, guys? Ben, I know you've got your own YouTube channel. Do you want to quickly mention it and chat about it?
That is true. I am Upstairs Studios on YouTube. Thank you very much, Mark. And I do short stop motions at the moment, and we are really close to 100 subscribers, which is huge. And once I start to grab a decent following, I hope to start doing more canon videos and maybe start my own Marvel Cinematic Universe.
That'd be cool. I do like stop motion. Something about it's very watchable. And so, and I like your videos. I've been watching them. I've liked them.
They're very good videos.
And I'm great to see where they go. So yeah, please, I'll put something in the description. So go follow Ben's channel, Upstairs Studios.
Yes.
Yep. Scott, anything you want to plug?
Stolen Futures Mark book on Amazon now.
Wait, thank you. That was not planned. It's not in the script at all. And now the evidence is gone.
It is a very good book. I enjoyed it very much. Good book series.
Actually, I screwed up the one bit of script I needed for that gag. Anyway, I don't think it matters. So yeah, Upstairs Studios and what Scott said about my book series.
Stolen Futures on Amazon now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you guys.
All three.
That's a great episode of What If. Less references to drinking in the next one. I bet Scott will bring drugs up instead. But please don't. I
will avoid drinking in the future.
Yeah, just
personally and in this.
This will be a lot. This was just getting our eye in, and I really apologise.
It's okay.
Drink responsibly, please.
Other car brands and motorsports and everything is available. So.
Everything we talked about is available elsewhere.
Yeah.
But other podcasts aren't available though.
except for Upstairs Studios. That is the only other one. But yeah, do you want to say goodbye, guys?
See ya.
Goodbye.
Have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world.
That was a true man show.
Yeah, that was the point, and you interrupted it. So
sorry.
So goodbye.
You ruined the
Do it again when we're cut.
The sounds you hear is me and Ben punching.